My name is Jax, and I am 17 years old living in Dublin, Ireland, and some days it feels like the weight of the whole world is pressing down on my shoulders, even when the sun is shining brightly over the Liffey River. Every morning I wake up before the birds, before most people even stir, to go to my job cleaning the local pub. It is not glamorous work, pushing a mop around sticky floors and wiping down tables that smell faintly of last night's spilled drinks, but it helps. It helps my family, who are struggling more than they let on. My mum lost her job at the factory last year, and my dad, bless his heart, works 2 jobs, but it is never quite enough. We are always just a step away from something breaking, something going wrong. My own dream to study engineering at university, to build things that last and make a difference, feels like a distant star, twinkling faintly in a sky full of storm clouds. There is a voice inside my head, my internal nemesis, that whispers doubt, telling me I am stuck, that I will never escape this cycle, that dreams are for other people, not for someone like me. I see Mrs. O'Malley almost every day, a sweet old widow with silver hair and eyes that hold a lifetime of stories. She lives just down the street from me. She tries to visit the small community park where her husband's memorial tree stands, a sturdy oak planted years ago. But the park's main gate, old and rusted, is broken, dragging on the ground, making it almost impossible for her to open. I have seen her struggle, her small frame straining against the heavy metal, her face etched with frustration and a quiet sadness. I always feel a pang in my chest, a push to help, but then that voice comes back, reminding me of my own struggles, how I barely have time to sleep, let alone fix a rusty old gate for a stranger, no matter how kind she is. I tell myself I have bigger worries, important worries that affect my future. I tried to save every penny from my cleaning job, imagining it would somehow magically multiply into enough for my future, or enough to ease my parents' worries. I even applied for a few apprenticeships, hoping to get some practical experience and earn more, but each rejection letter felt like another brick added to the wall, blocking my dreams. One particularly wet and blustery afternoon, I saw Mrs. O'Malley stumble and nearly fall right beside the broken gate. She was trying so hard to push it open, her thin coat doing little against the biting Dublin wind. I ran over, quickly helping her regain her balance, my heart thumping. Her gratitude was so genuine, so full of warmth, that it pushed past my own worries for a moment. That was it, I decided. The gate needed to be fixed. It was a small thing, maybe, but it felt like something I could actually do when everything else felt so out of my control. I talked to my mates, Liam and Finn, about it. They were mostly interested in video games and going to the chip shop. "A gate, Jax? What for?" Liam asked, scoffing. Finn just shrugged, already looking back at his phone. They were not exactly keen to spend their Saturday afternoon fixing a rusted old piece of metal. I decided I would do it myself. I looked in my dad's shed, hoping to find some tools, but the few spanners were rusted stuck, and the old saw was broken. I spent my precious free evenings, instead of studying, searching online for videos on how to fix old metal gates. I learned about hinges, welding, and rust removal. It seemed more complicated than I first thought. I found a salvage yard that had some old gate parts, but they wanted more money than I could spare. I felt my chest tighten, my enthusiasm slowly draining away. Then came the real blow. An unexpected bill for our heating, a huge amount, landed on the kitchen table. My mum sat there, tears in her eyes, saying we just didn't know how we would pay it. My dad, looking weary and defeated, suggested I might need to drop out of school after all to work full-time to help. This was my lowest point. The doubt, my internal nemesis, screamed at me. What was the point of anything? What was the point of cleaning pubs, dreaming of engineering, or even trying to fix an old gate when my own family was sinking? I felt like a failure, utterly useless. I walked past the broken gate that evening, the heavy metal now symbolic of all the broken things in my own life, and just wanted to walk away from everything, from Dublin, from my family's problems, from my own dreams. Liam and Finn even started making jokes about my charity project, saying I was wasting my time. The world felt like it was closing in, leaving no room to breathe. I sat on the low stone wall across from the park, staring at that broken gate, the heavy metal leaning sadly against the post, rust bleeding onto the pavement. My shoulders slumped, my spirit just as broken as the gate itself. Mrs. O'Malley slowly shuffled past, her gaze following mine to the gate, then up to the great oak tree swaying gently in the wind. She paused, turning to me with a soft, knowing look. "Having trouble there, dear?" she asked, her voice gentle, full of kindness. I mumbled something about the rust, about not having the right tools or the money for new parts. She sighed, her eyes a little misty as she looked at her husband's tree. "My Seamus, he was a carpenter, you know," she said, her voice a whisper. "Always said a good tool and a bit of determination could fix anything." She then pointed a delicate, age-spotted finger down the street. "That little hardware shop, Mr. Healy's place. He's a good man, helped Seamus out many a time. He sometimes has odds and ends, even for free if you explain your situation. It was such a small comment, a mere suggestion, but something about her quiet belief in me, the way she looked at me not as a struggling teenager but as someone who could actually do something, ignited a tiny spark within me. It was a flickering flame, but it was there. I took a deep breath, pushing down the doubt, and walked into Mr. Healy's shop. The air inside smelled of metal, wood, and paint. Mr. Healy, a burly man with kind eyes behind thick glasses, was polishing a hammer. I told him about Mrs. O'Malley and the gate, about my failed attempts, and how I just wanted to help her. He listened patiently, then walked to a dusty corner. He came back with two sturdy, slightly used hinges and a small bottle of rust remover. "These are old stock, son," he said, handing them to me. "And for the effort you're putting in for Mrs. O'Malley, consider them a gift. I saw you helping her that day. She almost fell. Good to see a young lad with a heart." His unexpected kindness, his belief in my intention, felt like a powerful jolt. It was the turning point. I felt a surge of energy, a renewed sense of purpose. I immediately messaged Liam and Finn, telling them I had the parts and that it was now or never. To my absolute surprise, they showed up not just for me, but maybe because Mr. Healy's kindness had spread, or perhaps because they saw my unwavering determination. We worked all evening, borrowing a small, portable welder from my understanding next-door neighbor, Mr. McGuire, who had heard about our project. We cut away the rusted parts, welded on the new hinges, sanded, primed, and painted the gate a fresh, hopeful green. The time we finished, the moon was high, and the gate swung open smoothly, silently. The next morning, I watched from my window as Mrs. O'Malley walked towards the park. She paused, a look of pure delight spreading across her face as she easily pushed open the newly painted gate. She walked through, her back a little straighter, her pace a little lighter, heading towards her husband's tree. A wave of warmth, a feeling of deep satisfaction, spread through my chest, stronger than any frustration or doubt I had felt before. My new normal wasn't without its challenges. My family still faced difficulties, and my university dreams still seemed far off. But something inside me had changed. I realized that even small acts of kindness, like fixing a gate, had a ripple effect. They didn't just help one person, they brought people together, they reminded us of our shared humanity, and they showed us that we are not alone. I started looking for other small ways to help in our community, volunteering one evening a week at a local center, helping with odd jobs, teaching younger kids how to fix their bikes, or just lending an ear. It felt good knowing I could make a difference, even a tiny one. A few months later, I received a letter in the post, not a rejection, but an invitation. It was from Mr. Healy at the hardware shop, offering me a part-time apprenticeship after school. He said he was impressed with my dedication and my growing skill with tools. I remembered Mrs. O'Malley saying her Seamus was a carpenter, and I smiled. It felt like a twist of fate, a quiet whisper from the universe, reminding me that dreams, even the ones you think are impossible, can sometimes find a way to bloom, especially when you open yourself up to kindness and choose to make the world a little brighter for someone else.